What's it going to take for silver to get to $100 an ounce?
The metals love turmoil and bad news, and there's plenty of it brewing.
Buy your gold and silver online from SD Bullion. New customers get gold or silver at spot by visiting sdbullion.com/new.
Got some nice stuff in the case today, Adrian.
Have a good stock shop, and we got some gold buffaloes. Those are something that people really like, and we don't always have that many on hand, so it gives people a good opportunity to pick up some gold buffaloes.
Yeah, you got a whole herd of them.
Yeah, right.
Half a dozen anyway.
Yeah.
And one eagle flying overhead.
Actually, the eagle is getting trampled by the buffaloes right now. Maybe we should move it up to the top, huh?
Yes.
And let's take a look at the price of gold today, Harry. It looks like it's actually dropping. So gold is sitting right at about, see if I can get the glare off of it there. There we go. So you can see gold is right at $3,300 an ounce. Silver sitting at $33 an ounce. So 100 to 1 ratio.
100 to 1. It's been hanging in there for a while at 100 to 1.
You know why the metals are falling today?
Well, I think the fear over the tariffs is diminishing, and people are going back to more traditional investments. You know, if the tariffs spooked everyone, and that's why it hit 3,500 nearly a couple of weeks ago, the opposite reason, things are calming down in the tariffs. I think people are just streaming back to more traditional investments.
It's kind of like risk on right now, huh?
Yeah, it's probably not going to stay here because I think the whole tariff thing is still in a state of flux, and there's a lot that can still happen, not only with the tariffs, but with some troubles in the world that need to be addressed.
So the bull run in metals isn't over. We're just taking a little bit of a pause right now.
Well, it's a Tuesday after a 3-day weekend, and the news over the weekend regarding tariffs was somewhat positive, with President Trump extending the EU's bump to 50% on the tariffs to, I think, July 9th.
Yeah.
So it gives kind of a little breathing room for those who were concerned about tariffs, and hopefully something will be resolved between now and then.
You know, one of the other things I noticed was that during the summer every year, it seems like metals kind of stay flat. I don't know, is that a theme that you've seen?
I have. I checked the last couple years on our sales, and we come out of the gate from January through May pretty strong, even record numbers. And then things taper off through the summer for whatever reason, and kind of pick up again in the fall. It seems to be a pattern. I think some of it might have to do with people are looking at summer vacations and budgeting for that. Maybe coins are an indoor sport and the weather gets nicer and there's other things on their mind.
What do you think, Adrian?
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what Harry's saying. I think people are just focused and putting their money towards something else at the time, but we always try to keep busy, and we always try to sell and do what we do.
Well, you know, for me personally, I try and buy consistently throughout the year, right? So I just try and buy every paycheck, maybe once every 2 weeks or twice a month, however it pans out, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really slow down at all in the summer, but it seems like a lot of other people do. And you know, when we get dips in the price like today, that's actually a really good time to buy.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's good to take advantage of these opportunities when we see the prices dip, because it's something that I don't think is going to last too long. But I would say, yeah, take advantage of the dips and just buy consistently, because you'll cost average your ounces over time. And you know, it's like when silver was, you know, $12, $13 an ounce, you know, buying, and it goes up to 15, and it's like, oh man, like I should have bought more when it was 10. But if you consistently keep buying, I mean, look at the price now, it's 33 an ounce, so you'll be okay over time. It's a long-term thing. Don't buy it to expect it to sell it here in the next few months or the next year.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that metals are always a long-term play. All right, so Harry, I got a question for you.
Sure.
What's it going to take for silver to get to $100 an ounce?
For silver to go to $100 an ounce, which is twice the all-time high, only bad things will cause that to happen, and that's a distinct possibility. You look at, first of all, Russia. Russia has stepped up its attacks on the Ukraine, and now Germany is telling Ukraine, you can now use our weaponry for whatever range you need. You know, there was like this artificial fence around how far they could shoot a missile into Russia. Now it's game on with, you want to shoot at Moscow? At least Germany is saying go for it. I think the U.S. is probably next, because President Trump is getting embarrassed by Putin's activity. He thought he was going to be this peacemaker, and it's just getting worse. So he may take the brakes off too on our weaponry. Also, watch carefully what happens in Iran. There's talks going on which are a waste of time in my view, because they can't be trusted. And they're going to keep enriching uranium until they have a nuclear weapon, which we cannot allow to happen. So if the United States takes out, maybe with Israel's help, or if the United States arms Israel to take out those nuclear facilities, then I think silver is going to be on a tear, because there's going to be a real threat of a regional war that could spread even further outside of the Middle East. So that's a long answer to the question, but those are two hot spots to watch in terms of what silver will do, and of course gold, because the metals love turmoil and bad news, and there's plenty of it brewing.
So basically, geopolitical events could create a lot of fear, and that would drive the price up.
Absolutely.
What about like fundamentals? I mean, if we just wait long enough with the dollar getting weaker decade after decade, I mean, eventually it's bound to hit it, right?
Yeah, but you're talking about a natural progression over time. I'm talking about a spike.
Right.
That sends it into the stratosphere in short order.
What about a shortage? You know, I saw that one of the biggest dealers, APMEX, posted a video just the other day, and they said there's a potential silver shortage looming. I forget what it is, but I'll put it in the video here so people can see. What do you think about that? I mean, could a shortage cause the price to spike?
Well, shortage will cause, in any commodity, could cause prices to spike, because, you know, supply and demand is such that if demand is there and supply isn't, that limited supply then goes up in price. I just haven't had any impression here in my small part of the world that there's a shortage of silver. It's coming in buckets over the counter, and when we choose to order from, say, one of the large distributors around the country, I'm not having any problem getting any.
So in your experience, there's no shortage right now, and there probably isn't likely going to be one in the near future?
I mean, in the short snapshot of time that I operate in, there hasn't been any problem.
Yeah. Have you seen any type of a shortage, Adrian, or have you heard of any of the other dealers talking about one?
Yeah, I think I saw that article that you were talking about from APMEX. I can't quite remember exactly what it said, but just touching on what Harry said is I don't think we will have a shortage of the metals unless, you know, there's something that's within industry, because silver is an industrial metal, you know, like a war or some big advancement in, I guess, solar panels or something. That's what we'll see the price of silver being squeezed. But as far as any shortages right now, I don't see any, because when we need to order it, we can order it with no problem. Also, people are bringing them over the counter quite often.
So would you agree with Harry then? One of the things that could cause silver to go to 100 would just be like a war or fears of war or something like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, look at the spikes that we've had in silver. I mean, a lot of that had to do with, you know, the wars going out in the other parts of the world. You know, not long ago we were, you know, at about $20 an ounce in silver, and now we're at 33. So I would say war definitely does have a lot to do with the increase in price of silver.
And here's the other thing too. If silver does go to $100 an ounce, is the price of a lot of other goods going to go up as well?
It depends on where the bad news occurs and if our supply of those goods is dependent upon those bad actors. So it's difficult to answer that one.
So if we see silver spike, it's possible it could be the only thing that goes up. But then if we see silver just gradually go up over time, you think likely the price of other goods will go up as well?
Well, inflation drives some of that. Although look what gold did the last year and a half.
I know.
And some of it was inflation related, some of it was geopolitical, and some was just financial. You know, you had actual sovereign nations stockpiling gold and banks. And so some of it has just got to do with money.
Well, I will say, Harry, we definitely live in interesting times.
We always do.
And you know what? If silver does go to $100 an ounce, I'm going to be here making videos of it. I'll be back in the coin shop, and we'll see what happens to gold. Because if silver spikes and gold doesn't spike as high, well, you know, I might be trading some of that silver for gold.
And we'll let you cut the line to come in and video, because if it goes to 100 an ounce, people are going to be lined up out the door with their silverware and flatware and so forth to take advantage of those prices.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Harry.
Yes, of course.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Silver Dragons.
Thanks a lot, Adrian.
Thank you.